is a two-time Emmy Award-winning sports broadcaster. She currently works as a host for the NFL Network, and you can see her Tuesday nights hosting A Football Life, Backstory, as well as NFL Scoreboard on Sundays. This past summer, Jenn co-hosted NBC's hit summer primetime show, American Ninja Warrior. And if that's not enough, Jenn's covered a range of sporting events, including the Super Bowl, the BCS National Championship game, the College Baseball World Series, NBA Finals, the Monaco Grand Prix, which, you know, we'd all like to go to Monaco, and the Daytona 500. And she is out front leading the way for young women who are dreaming of following in her footsteps. Jenn Brown, welcome.
Thank you so much, Moll. It's so great to be on your show.
Well, we're so glad to have you. I mean, wow. I'm telling you, it's like I wanted to get some of this out as I'm reading down this bio. I'm like, I don't want to leave anything out. There's so much more I could say. I mean,
oh, you're so sweet, you know. And I sit there, and as you read that, I still have those like moments where I'm just flabbergasted and so appreciative that I have, you know, that I get to do, and I've gotten to do so many amazing things, and I've been so blessed. And you kind of start to forget, you know, some of the, I went to Monaco, that was 8 years ago, but yeah, like, oh gosh, it's very humbling to remember, you know, where you came from and all the amazing blessings that I've had. And so thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to talk to you.
Well,
By the way, I saw the ombre look, the new hair color. I mean, you may have inspired me. I saw you on Twitter yesterday. I may go in a little different for spring. I love your new hair color.
Oh, you are so sweet. Don't you change a thing. You are rocking that blonde do better than anybody. And not everybody can be blonde, but you definitely pull it off. You're a rock star.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I'm so excited to have you on the show, and I got to spend a whole day with you, basically. When you do Home and Family with Christina Ferrari, it is a day, and it's such a neat thing because you bond in different ways, you know?
Oh my gosh, I walked away from that show and I was like, they have the best job in the world.
I know.
They get to go and hang out and spend time, and it was so much fun. I know. I think I'm going to be on next week, the show again, to talk about Super Bowl. And I was like, as soon as they called, I was like, you told my agent, I was like, you figure out, we make that work. I want to be on there. That was so much fun. You go like you. That is a fun show. And if I woke up every day doing that, I'd be, whew, they have a blast. You guys have a blast.
I know. We had a good time. Well, you know, Jenn, you are what every woman out there is aspiring to be. You are stunning, and more importantly, you're talented and respected. I mean, women sports broadcasters have this huge, you know, stereotype to dismiss. Can you talk to my audience a little bit about the challenges of being a woman in sports broadcasting? Because nobody does it better than you.
Well, thanks, Moll. You know, first thing I want to say is that I'm so thankful, though, for the women that have come before me, that have paved the way, because I think that they should really get a lot of credit. You know, the Andrea Kramers, the Bonnie Bernstein, Michelle Tafoya, Robin Roberts. I mean, these women have done so much. I look up to them, and they've done such an incredible job of really paving the way for female in a very male-dominated industry. You know, I can't really imagine what it must have been like for them 20, 30, 40 years ago. But I do think we've made considerable strides, like I've said, but there are still some challenges that we face. You know, I think the thing that stands out to me the most, and I've been in the business for about 10 years now, is it seems that there's still kind of this double standard, you know, for men versus women. And, you know, I think I see it most as if you see a man make a mistake, right? A lot of times I would say that it's just brushed off, that they say, oh, he misspoke. But if a woman makes a mistake on air, a lot of times you'll see the follow up on social media or in blogs is that, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Why does she have that job? She doesn't know what she's talking about. So I certainly think that we're held to a little bit of a different standard when it comes to men in the workplace there. But the other thing, and I've gotten to talk about this with a couple of my female friends, is I don't understand that are in the sports world. That is, I don't understand. You know, we're constantly scrutinized for our looks, and you're never going to make somebody happy. And so I don't understand, though, why that has anything to do with our job and our ability and our competency to be able to do our job. You know, if you see the hair color's wrong, or the outfit's wrong, or the makeup's wrong, and I just, you know, my good friend Samantha Steele Ponder wrote a great blog post about it, and just how, you know, we go on and you get these comments about your outfit and how you don't know what you're talking about because you have a different color lipstick on that day. It's just kind of like, I have no idea how that correlates to us doing our job. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, for me, is, you know, you do recognize that there are some different standards out there. but you don't let it affect you. For me, I just go out there and I say, you know what, I'm going to work the hardest that I can. I'm going to be the most prepared that I can. Am I going to make mistakes? Sure. That's part of life. Nobody's perfect. And I'm just going to take it and laugh it off and work harder to not make the same mistake twice and just do the best job that I can possibly do. And I think that's the best way to look at it.
Well, that's a great way to look at it. And, I love your background because, you come from an Olympian family background, which is probably what makes you such a great fighter, makes you get in there and want to do your job the way you are. I mean, that's so impressive. I had no idea that your parents were former Olympic coaches.
Yeah, my mom and dad, they coached 88, 92, and 96. And so growing up, I think it was so beneficial for a young girl. I grew up, we had at times, 3-4 gymnasts that would live with us. They would actually leave their families,
wow.
At 14, 15 years old because they had the dreams of wanting to become an Olympian. And for me as a young girl to see the self-sacrifice that it took to following your dreams, to having a goal and the countless hours that they put in of work and then also seeing my parents run their own business. Mm-hmm. It was so powerful for me, and I think that has certainly influenced me. And I was a bit of an overachiever growing up, and I just wanted to do everything. But I understood the self-sacrifice that it really takes. And I try to speak a lot. I try to do leadership seminars and talk to girls and really anybody that's interested in sports and what it takes to really get to that highest level, whether it's sports or your career. And constantly I point back to that time when I was a kid growing up and seeing these athletes, these Olympian, these young girls giving up everything, and the families, their self-sacrifice to put these girls in these positions to follow their dream of making the Olympics. And, it's a really special thing to have been a part of and seen firsthand.
Well, if you're just joining me, we are visiting with Jenn Brown, 2-time Emmy-winning reporter, sports broadcaster. I just love saying that. I'm so proud of you as a woman. I think that's just so cool. And what I love this part. When I read this in your bio, I just think this is the coolest. In 2010, your high school inducted you into the Athletic Hall of Fame, recognizing you as an all-around athlete. Tell us how that made you feel.
It was awesome. When I was in high school, as I mentioned, the overachiever part, I was kind of the kid that wanted to do everything, and I was in student council and did president of my class, and then I wanted to play every sport because I hadn't really settled on what I wanted to try to do in college. I did end up playing softball in college, but so I played a lot of sports. Actually, I played 7 sports in high school, and my sophomore year, the newspaper writer for the local newspaper beat writer came to me and he said, based on what you're doing, if you continue doing the sports and doing varsity, you will maybe break the record at your high school for the most varsity letters for a male or female athlete. It was set back in 1979, and the person had 13 varsity letters, who was a female, by the way. I should point that out. Mm-hmm. But and so I made that a goal, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to do that. So I was fortunate enough. I stayed on track until I graduated 14 varsity letters, and
wow.
Because of that accolade, they did induct me into my Hall of Fame, and it was a really special thing. I actually wasn't even able to be there that day because I was on the sidelines for a Thursday night football game.
Yeah, gotta work.
I know, you gotta work, right? But my mom went there, and she was so proud. She's my best friend, and it's really neat to have these accomplishments throughout my career that my mom, I always laugh. I say, Mom, I do it for you so you can be proud and tell all your friends. We've got such a great relationship. So she got to go there on behalf of me and accept it. And but it was really nice to be honored after, actually it was 11 years after graduating for something that I did back in high school.
How does it make you feel to know you're inspiring all these young girls who are looking up to you when they read this information and see you? I mean, you are the real deal. You are an athlete. And, sometimes they might just see you and look at her and say, wow, she's really pretty. I wonder what she did to do that. They don't understand how hard you worked. How do you inspire those young girls when they come up to you?
Well, I have to say that kids are my passion, huge passion. I'm in a lot of charity organizations where we do stuff of getting kids in sports and pairing up in leadership. And I think that, it's unfortunate that with, especially in low socioeconomic places where parents have to work and, kids have the people they see on TV to look up to. And so for me, I take that as a big responsibility to be, to be a positive role model, to show the hard work and that hard work does breed success. And it's an honor for me. And it's something that I don't take lightly. And so I will say to the girls and boys out there that do aspire to be successful at anything, Moll, this is just, really follow your passion. Mm-hmm. I love sports. My parents are Olympic coaches. I played 7 sports in high school. I knew I wanted to work in sports. And so I made that a reality. And I know what I do is what most people do for fun, but it is hard work. But it doesn't feel like work because it's my passion. And I'm sure it's the same thing with you. I know we've had a chance to talk about all the stuff that you do, and I know you love what you do. It comes through. And when you love what you do, it's motivating and inspiring, and hopefully the youth can see the fruits of passionate labor and how successful you can be from that.
Well, if you're just joining me, we are visiting with Jenn Brown, who I'm lucky enough to have gotten to spend the day with and get to know her just a little bit and know she has so much to share and so much you're doing. I mean, you're gearing up for the 6th season of NBC's American Ninja Warrior. You want to tell us about this show? I mean, how fun.
Oh, it is such a fun show. So it is the 6th season it's been on NBC. We're getting ready to ramp back up right now. And last year was my first year being a part of the show, and I was always a fan. I'd seen it when it was on G4, and because Ninja Warrior in Japan, it's called Sasuke, and it's a competition that's been around for 27 seasons, believe it or not. So I'd always seen it, and I was a fan. The thing I like about this show is that it's real athletes. These are guys and women that have given up and sacrificed it. They are training year-round for this show, which to me, I was like, wow, this is their Super Bowl. To make it to Mount Midoriyama, they train their whole year to make it. I wish that they had more than just one shot at the obstacle, though, because it's a one and done. If you don't make it through, if you fall, you're out, and then there's your hopes of that season being done. I don't know any other sport where you get you get just one shot. Baseball, you get 4 at bats. NFL, you get 4 quarters. So this is tough. This is tough, but it's so neat. I got to try some of the obstacles, which being an athlete, I was like, oh yeah, I could do some of these obstacles. I felt like I had a pretty good expectation I would do well, and I was destroyed, Moll. I laughed so hard. I have it. I call it my highlight reel, but it's really a low light reel that I have on my website of me trying the obstacles.
Oh my gosh!
It was neat. It gave me an appreciation for how difficult the obstacle course truly is, which gave me a better understanding when interviewing the athletes and competitors when they were done on the course. But, we're getting ready to start shooting again, and we have a date in Venice, and I know you're California-based. We got to get you now, you can try the obstacles if you want. I wouldn't recommend it. So you can come out and check it out if you'd like. Bring some friends, family.
I'd love to come out.
It's a great family show.
Well, it looks like fun. I'm going to have to step up my workout program if I'm going to get out there and try the obstacle course. I think it might be fun to try, but I don't know. It looks pretty intense.
Well, it is intense. I can definitely say it is intense. I will tell, for anybody that listens to your show that is a fan, I think a lot of people, I get asked a lot, is like, how do I get on the show? I want to be on it. And I think that is the neat thing, is that you literally could be sitting on your couch, watch the show, and say, you know what? I think I could be on that show. It's very attainable, and you could submit next season and be on it. So they have a website where people can submit their videos to be on the show, and it's ANW for American Ninja Warrior. It's ANWtryouts.com. So if anybody wants to check it out, and maybe they have what it takes, and I'll be interviewing them after they win $500 million and they get to the top of Mount Midoriyama.
Oh, I love it. Well, I hope you can stick around for a little bit because we're going to take a break. But when we come back, Jenn Brown's back with us, and we are talking all about something really big that's going on this weekend. I think you know what it is. Yep, it's the Super Bowl, and we've got lots to talk about, Jenn, so stick around.
Take Moll wherever you go. Just download the iHeart app on your smartphone. Go to iHeart.com to find out more. Now back to the Moll Anderson Show.
Well, we're back, and I am visiting with the beautiful, the smart, the talented, the athletic Jenn Brown, who is truly an athlete herself and is co-hosting the 6th season of American Ninja Warrior, as well as, oh my gosh, what else? What else do you not do? I mean, when your husband comes to the door, do you give him a play-by-play? I mean, what is it like to be married to Jenn Brown when you're a guy and you're watching a game? I mean, how do you dumb it down? And and when I say that, I'm not being insulting to your husband, but how do you like let him be a guy and not have you call the plays and explain and argue with him like, no, I didn't see it that way, you know?
It's funny. My husband and I are very competitive people, and we decided, and I think it may have been a bad idea, but we decided to do a family fantasy football league this year.
Oh, my gosh, you're brave.
He and I were not on the same team, and so he didn't do quite so well as me. But I will say, look, I've got, I work at the NFL Network. I'm there every day with Deion Sanders and Marshall Falk and, Willie McGinnis, all these amazing guys that know so much about football. So I clearly have some extra brains to pick if I needed it. But no, it's funny though, is my husband's an actor. And, so this is the first time, I used to be with ESPN and I used to travel so much. It's the first time I've had a job where, for the most part, I'm home because NFL Network, I now work in studio.
Yeah.
So the first time in 10 years I'm at home. Well, my husband just got a new role. He's going to be in the next Hunger Games, the next 2 Hunger Game movies.
Awesome.
On for like 10 months, so we laugh now. He's off shooting and I'm home. So, but it's funny how the dynamic works. But he's a big sports fan, and he's a big boxing fan and mixed martial arts, and I do a show for the UFC, and so it's great to have someone share the same passion that we enjoy watching sports together as a couple. Where it's like, I need to watch the NFC Championship game, the AFC Championship game, or even most games during the season for my job.
Right.
And so it's nice that I can say, I'm sure he appreciates it too, because he probably want to watch the games anyway, but I'm like, look, I have to watch it. We can't go out and celebrate maybe a birthday party with someone, or we have to DVR and come back and watch it when we get home, because I have to watch the games. And I think he appreciates having a wife that says that you have to watch football.
You think? I mean, if you're just joining me, we're talking Jenn Brown here. And it must be really tough to have a wife who says, honey, we got to watch a game. I mean, think about that. I mean, that is every man's dream. So not only are you beautiful, but you are the super fantasy wife that all men would love to have because they have to watch sports. I mean...
It's not that. I mean, and that's the thing. And so he has to watch movies. That's his job. He's an actor, and that's part of his profession. So our time and days are filled of coming home, and I'll cook dinner, and it's all right, which sporting event and which new movie that's up for the Golden Globes do we need to watch? So it's not a bad. We don't. Unfortunately, our friends, we're not the big going out couple. We're the ones like, hey, you guys come over, we'll make dinner. Who wants to watch football? Who wants to watch the Golden Globes?
You're like the cool house. When are you going to have children? When are you guys going to have time to have children? And when you do, I can only see it now. Oh, gosh, your mom's Jenn Brown. This is like so cool. You are going to be like the ultimate mom, too.
Well, we've been married a year and a half, and we said we wanted to be married, for a little while to enjoy each other, because from everybody, all my friends that have kids has told me your life does change, and we hear them loud and clear, and so...
Forever it changes.
We're getting closer to that time where we'll start to think about it for sure. But to say, to the point of having a cool parent, I have half siblings, a brother and 2 sisters that are 13, 14, and 15. And I think now it's kind of, my brother's at that age where it's like really cool that your sister works in sports. And so it's kind of neat. He has friends, he has me text. He's like, can you just tell my friend that you really are my sister? Because he doesn't believe me. I mean, it's really cute. It's adorable. But kids on the forefront some point soon. And we'll see.
I love it. Well, if you're just joining me, we're visiting with Jenn Brown, and how can we not be talking about what's happening? Super Bowl is tomorrow. So, Jenn, who is your pick, and can you tell us the level of excitement that you have on a day like this?
Well, I am so excited. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for all season long. You work so hard. You watch all the games to have it come to the culmination of the Super Bowl. So, of course, this is the day for me. But here's what I'll say: the Seahawks are very impressive. Everybody's talked about it. It's number 1 defense versus number 1 offense in the Broncos, and the Seahawks are very impressive defensively. Their secondary and defensive line is amazing, and I think that they win defensively in the matchups. And Russell Wilson, I am impressed with him as a quarterback. I was impressed with him when I covered him back in college, even when he was at NC State and at Wisconsin. But when it comes down to the Super Bowl and experience, this is Russell Wilson's second season in the NFL. Peyton Manning has so many options at the line of scrimmage, and he is so good at deciphering what the defense is going to do, where they're lined up. And let's not kid ourselves, the Seahawks do not really disguise their game plan and what they're doing. So I think based on, really, in my opinion, Peyton Manning alone and the veteran quarterback that he is and the ability that he can just, see what defense is doing and make those calls at the line, I'm going to give the edge to the Broncos.
Yes.
Is that your team? Is that all right?
Yes. Well, I have to tell you, Peyton's our guy. He, besides being, an amazing quarterback and probably one of the best of all time. I mean, look at the way he has come back from his surgery and the way he's out there just blowing the doors out. I mean, we love Peyton, and we love Peyton for many reasons. He's a close friend of my husband's, but he was a Vol. He was a UT Tennessee Vol. And of course, my husband played for Tennessee too back in the day, and so it's kind of hard not to root for the guy, Well,
you got to, absolutely, of course. Yeah, no, I've been so impressed. The fact I know it hits close to home with the surgery. I actually have 2 artificial discs in my neck.
Oh my
gosh.
I
had surgery from an accident once, and they wanted to fuse my neck at one point, and so I understand what he went through, and I'm so impressed with his. A lot of people thought his career was over.
Oh, I know.
And so what he's done and the season that he's had, the record-breaking season he's had, it just needs to pay off, I think, with him winning the Super Bowl. And when I'm not saying going out on top, because I think he's got a lot more years in him if he wants. But I think that he deserves and has the ability to pull this off tomorrow.
Absolutely. I mean, those Mannings, talk about good stock. I mean,
right?
I know. And, Kelly Ripa and Michael Strahan were laughing the other day on TV, and Michael was like, so who do you think mom and dad are taking care of more right now? And she said, are you kidding? Poor Eli's getting cookies, and mama's taking care of Eli right now. It's whoever the child is that's not on top at the moment, is the one that gets all the attention from the parents,
I know. And it's got to be so tough. I mean, you talk about competitiveness and being driven. Certainly that's a very competitive family and impressive with Archie and his credentials. But I wonder how hard it is for the parents when they play each other.
I know.
They're partial to that. I don't know. I just think
I would not want to be that mama. That would be tough.
No, I would not. I'd be like, all right, for the first half, I am going to root for the Broncos.
There you
and
go.
Then for the second half, I'm going to go put my Giants jersey on. I won't show favoritism.
Well, before we stop talking about the Super Bowl, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Sherman's rant. Okay, so I want your opinion. If you had been Aaron standing there, I mean, what do you think about that? What is your take on it?
Well, I think it was very raw and real. I know that Erin came out and said, that she, appreciated it. And I think that, they go out on that field and play for 4 quarters, and we ask them to be warriors, gladiators, right, as people have said. And there's so much emotion wrapped up in that. Clearly, there was some talking going back and forth between him and Crabtree, and he just went off and had a very self-defining moment to get his team solidified to going to the Super Bowl, and that we got a very real and raw reaction there, and I don't mind it. I mean, a lot of times, when I was a sideline reporter, I felt that I hated to have to just ask a question just because you could ask a question.
Right.
I always pushed myself to say, you know what, I want us to be, I want this to be something that viewers at home want to know. And so you never want to get the cookie cutter answer, like, oh, we played hard for 4 quarters, and then they, say how well the defense did and the offense did. Could it be a distraction? I know people are arguing whether or not it's a distraction. I don't think so. We're talking about him.
That's right.
and he had a phenomenal play. And so, me personally, I don't think there was anything wrong with it. If anything, I think it showed us the real, true, raw emotion, of how he was feeling. Maybe does he wish he maybe had a second to compose himself and maybe word it a little bit differently?
Well, this is a bright man. I mean, he is well schooled. This is a brilliant guy. And I think it's interesting because this morning when I was walking out the door, I heard on the news that they played back the tape because he was mic'd, and they heard him actually saying, hey, good game to Crabtree.
Interesting.
And so, he was telling the truth, apparently, according to this tape. He was just trying to be a good guy. And then I think, after the push, hey, we all get pushed and you're hot and you're like, it's a moment. But
it's a real, raw, emotional moment that we got to see on live television that you don't always get to see.
No.
I don't think there is anything wrong with it. What do you think?
No, I think we're being way too hard on him. I think we're expecting way too much in the heat of a moment. And I think he's working very hard to let people know he's not a thug. And he really did not like that comment. And I think he wants people to understand that, hey, he got caught up. Should he have taken a moment? Yeah, but you don't have a moment. It's real. It's live. It is what it is. And I wish him the best. And I think that we can't be judgmental,
I agree. There was a phenomenal feature that was on NFL Network last week about him, and they were talking about, and it showed a very different side than if you just took it on face value from that interview, that maybe what people conclusions they jumped to about him, and I saw that, and I was like, you know what? I hope that more people will see this, because it shows a different side of Michael Sherman, than just seeing him there. That I think that Rich Sherman, is more than just what you saw there in that moment, for sure.
Well, and we wish him well, but we still hope, or at least I have to say, I'm still hoping for Denver and Peyton for sure. But I can't let you go real quick. I just got a second here. Talk about the Jenn Brown Collection game day line, because I own one. You gave me one, and I do wear it all the time. And I don't know if you've seen, I Instagrammed a picture, a couple weeks back, and I love it. And I need a UT orange one.
Yes, well,
I'm putting in my order right now.
Yep, order done. I will send it out your way, and I do appreciate you posting the picture. Yeah, for me, it was something, I loved making jewelry, and I was kind of this little entrepreneur back when I was in high school, and I would make jewelry and sell it to my friends, and so it was just something I was like, you know what? I want to start a jewelry line. And I think, given that I'm in sports, and why not make stuff for girls to wear to their favorite games,
I love it.
In college, for their sport that supports, it could be high school, because really I did everything just in colors. So you can pick out your colors of your team, you can pick out your stones, and so yeah, I created the game day line, and I'm actually going to be rolling out this fall the ability. I'm all about, giving people the opportunity to be financially free. I think it's a great thing to be able to have some other ways of getting residual income. So I'm actually going to roll out where I'm going to have campus reps all over the country that can sell the Jenn Brown collection, and have girls and men, if they want to, have the ability to make a little money and selling it. So it's something that I'm passionate about. I'm excited, and I will get you your ball bracelet necklace, no problem.
Well, you are so sweet. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you'll come back. I love talking sports with you.
Absolutely. We can revisit after the Super Bowl, and hopefully it'll be a celebration for you and your husband as if the Broncos pull this one off, which I think they can.
Awesome. Well, we're going to look forward to that 6th season of NBC's American Ninja Warrior. And I'm going to come out and try to catch you out there one of those days. And real quick, tell us how we find the Jenn Brown Collection game day, because I don't want to leave and not let people have that opportunity.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's just JennBrownCollection.com. My name's Jenn with 2 N's, so JENN BrownCollection.com. And I've got a bunch of different pieces on there. I really appreciate them all. It was such a pleasure being on your show. You do a great job. I'm a fan, so thank you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I'm a big fan of yours, so keep being a fabulous leader to young women out there. And we'll talk to you real soon. And go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Take care.
Bye, doll.